Northampton are still without their captain and their talisman Dylan Hartley, so Mike Hayward deputises this week. Saints are confident that Hartley will be OK for the semi-final. At lock, Courtney Lawes is given the weekend off, so James Craig steps in alongside the returning Christian Day. And in the backs, 50th appearance for Ken Pesey on the right wing, and the return of George North after some calf trouble, no doubt a comforting sight for Saints supporters, as is the sight of Alex Corbisiero on the bench 7 months after his last outing. The Wasps boss, Dai Young, has more than one eye on next weekend's European playoff, so there are 11 changes up front. A first Premiership start for the Tongan international tight head Taione Vea. Tom Palmer and Nathan Hughes retain their places, but at open side, no James Haskell. Instead, it's Guy Thompson wearing the number 7 shirt. Behind the scrum, the Bell brothers are back together. James Short is on the wing, and at half-back, Charlie Davis pairing up with Joe Carlisle, who slots in at 10, with Andy Good amongst the replacements this week. And there's Guy Thompson, who will be taking the place of the open side James Haskell. Big day for Carlisle, something of a free spirit, rather a different player to Andy Good. Not resting on him, and in the background there, Tom Vandel offering the kind of strike power and finishing edge that Wasps have missed through so much of this season, with him and Christian Wade both on the sidelines for long periods.
Use it!
Lee Dixon sends the first box kick on its way. Tommy Bell in to gather it. Oh, it's fallen for Tommy Bell, but it's just off a fingertip. I think he thought for a minute there he might have been away.
Well, it was just a sniff. Did that come off his knee? But no, I think there were just fingertips to it. But if he had caught it, he was off to the races.
Your second row's down.
Just a little fingertips before the knee, wasn't it? Good call from Luke Pearce. Good start. Good box kick from Lee Dixon. All round good rugby.
Not a whole lot of game time for Tommy Bell, and that goes for one or two of the players in the Wasps ranks, particularly the younger of the Bell brothers, James Short on the wing. He's joining London Irish, but he
time on, please.
Has had limited opportunities. Real chance for those kind of characters to step up and show Dai Young what they're made of, potentially to play a part in the European playoff against Stad, certainly to give him a little inkling as to what he might expect next season from them.
Yeah, what you don't want to do is any kind of weakness in a scrum building up to a two-leg playoff. You don't want to have to be training on the scrum machine for 2 weeks, Alistair. Wasps will be fighting hard here.
This is going to be a tough area for Wasps to counter. A very strong Northampton pack, particularly in the front row. Looks to be a little bit of a mismatch. Wasps have got their youngsters in there, inexperience in the form of Simon McIntyre and Taione Vea, Tom Lindsay the hooker, and early indications are that it could be, potentially could be, a tough afternoon in the engine room.
Yeah, I don't think the viewers are going to get a huge amount of detail of scrum analysis from me today, as that's not really my specialist subject. Maybe more for Ben Kay.
You've seen enough of it up close and personal, Matt.
Yeah, I'm usually whinging about it, to be honest, Alistair.
Bleating to the ref. Callum Clark with the line-out ball. Here's Luther Burrell on the charge. His breakthrough season. He's been terrific. He's got a busy summer ahead of him as well with England out in New Zealand. The ball is making its way out to the wing, and it hasn't been gathered cleanly by Ken Pesey, the Samoan international, making his 50th appearance in the first team. His brother George is on the bench today.
Okay, once you're on the mark. Number 8, can you come on the mark, please?
The Northampton bench looking threatening every which way you look at it. Alex Corbisiero, Samuel Manoa, Tom Wood, Khan Futualiti, George Pesey.
Okay, thanks.
And they'll all get airtime today. They'll all get airtime. But Saints have got to be accurate. You know, for this game to be done with half an hour to go for those replacements to come on, Alistair, Northampton have to be accurate in the first 50. They've got to make sure those simple passes go to hand.
It's Charlie Davis. Very, very good kick from Charlie Davis. One bounce and very little that Ken Pesey could have done about it.
I'm not. It was a bit sort of a bit blowy in the wind there, wasn't it? With the ball was swirling around. Kempisi didn't want to quite commit to it, so probably made the right decision just to let the ball bounce into touch. Therefore, it is the Saints' throw. But alternatively, if he had got that, George North, I've kept an eye on him early on. Blimey, he's shouting and screaming for the ball. He wants a piece of the action for sure.
Dixon charged down, and this is going to fall beautifully for Davis, who strikes. What a score for Wasps. Saints stunned in the opening 4 minutes of the match. It was Davis's kick who set up the field position, and the terrier-like qualities of the scrum half rewarded.
Yeah, do you know what? I think Lee Dixon has just been just that tiny bit lazy there in getting the ball away. Not quite as sharp as he usually is. Took an extra step, here we go, trying to be too precise. He's done that thousands of times. Look, no blocking. Look at the way that Davis has just come through that angle there. Great charge down. Ball pops up nicely, and it's an easy score. Lee Dixon knows he's made a mistake.
Well, if anybody thought it was a dead rubber, they should have a little look at the facial expression of Charlie Davis. Celebrating wildly. Carlisle's conversion is being held up in the breeze, and it's also to the left-hand side of the posts. But nevertheless, a statement from Wasps early on. Terrific start. Northampton will know that if they are not on the money today, they could get picked off. Any kind of complacency will be punished. While they're going very long with the restart. And Carlisle off the left boot. Makes a good clearance.
Even there, though, Alistair, the kickoff from Stephen Myler had no height. It was a bit of a sort of nothing kick, just drilled it down straight into Wasps territory, and it got smacked back 50 yards. You'd think from one mistake, right, a bit of regroup, let's get the kickoff absolutely spot on.
Saracens have scored an early try against Leicester, leading by 5 points to 0. They're fielding a severely depleted side today. Of course, they're fighting on 2 fronts. The Heineken Cup final looming against Toulon in a couple of weekends' time. So too Saints battling on 2 frontiers, involved in the Amlin Challenge Cup final. They'll be up against Bath in 13 days' time in Cardiff. Tommy Bell driving it on over the halfway line. Carlisle floats it across for Charlie Hayter. Picked up nicely by Nathan Hughes, who has been a wrecking ball in recent weeks. He's been absolutely stellar for Wasps, making holes every which way. This is Ed Jackson, another of those starved of game time. Carlisle, Bell, short. Callum Clark eventually scries him to the ground. Hayter. Thompson offering himself. Instead, it's Jackson. Nice continuity through Palmer. That look forwards to Nathan Hughes, and he's very, very close to the touchline. That is out. Running out of space, and also surely the forward pass to the big number 8.
But what was Saints? I mean, Saints defence, they're just backing off. Look, you can see all of their chests as they turn around. It's allowing the Wasps to get those offloads away. Northampton have got to get up quickly if they want to put this Wasp team under pressure. Wasps can sense it. Wasps can sense that they can get around the outsides and start offloading in the likes of Short and Bell, running good lines. But at the end of the day, when it breaks down and comes to the set piece, you feel that Saints can then rely on that set piece to get out of trouble.
Bind! Set!
Another good shove from Northampton, putting the squeeze on the Wasps 8. It'll be reset. Dixon's looking for the penalty. Certainly seem to have an edge up front.
Both on the pressure.
For all the talk of Saints' excellent home form, where they've been beaten just once here since Christmas. That was by the Leicester Tigers back in March.
Either side.
They have only won 1 of their last 5 in the Premiership. Lost out to Sarries, Leicester, Sale. Beat London Irish and, of course, drew 19-all with Bath last Friday at the Rec. So, not the form necessarily of potential champions, but a long way still to go. Better shove this time from Wasps. And Dickinson picks up under a little bit of pressure. Dixon will take greater care over his box kick and turns into the clearance kick this time. No mistakes made on that occasion.
There was no messing around there, was there? He just had a little glance up to see who was ready to charge him down. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to belt it as hard as I possibly can and get ourselves out of trouble and regroup.
One of a couple of recent dads in the Saints ranks. New baby for Lee Dixon, so too Christian Day. So probably starved of a little bit of sleep recently. Here's Vondel. Fancies himself always on the outside arc.
Tackle only.
Davis. Inside ball for Lindsay. Excellent break from the young hooker. Carlisle. Surely forwards again to Nathan Hughes. Running a good line. Luke Wallace doesn't seem that bothered about it. On it goes again. Quick hands. Too quick from Hayter. Charging after it is PC. He wants to keep this alive. Wilson is there, then it's gone forwards from Hayward, who thumps it away in disgust.
Well, there's some good, there's some bad, there's some indifferent. It's got pretty much everything at the moment, from missed tackles at Northampton, lovely breaking lines from Vondel, and lovely inside ball there. But a terrible, I mean, a real weak tackle from Callum Clark that Dowson had to cover off. You see the pace that Wasps are running at and recycling the ball. No one competing for the ball there for Northampton and making life very, very easy.
They look, dare I say it, they look just a little bit hungrier today.
I think they have to be hungrier, because if Wasps are not hungry, they're going to get done by 30, 40 points. That's the psychology that will probably go behind the Wasps team. But with Northampton, they have got half an eye on what's happening next week. But as you just alluded to there, we were talking about some of the stats. Northampton and the whole proposition here of Franklin's Gardens is going to be so much more tougher for the Leicester Tigers if Northampton perform in a well-drilled, accurate, confident way, because your preparation in the week completely changes.
Saracens leading Leicester by 8 points to 3 now, we understand, at Welford Road. Hughes picks it up, that's Messi for Davis.
Hold there, yellow, hold, yellow! Good.
PC seems to be attracting the ball at the moment, something of a magnet now. He reckons that was into touch further upfield than the assistant referee on the far side, who was Kelvin Stewart.
Oh, sorry, official, but his toe was on the line, was it not?
Look that way.
We can't have players surrounding you like that, okay? We've made a decision, we're sticking with it. It's freestyle, lads.
Okay, it's my mistake, it should be yellow ball.
Okay, thanks.
Can you go to the TMO for that?
Time on.
So you're nodding at me there. Are you prepared to say yes on air or not?
Well, I think so. Looks like Luke Pearce is happy to continue. He's taken instructions from Kelvin Stewart, and Wasps have secured the ball, and they're in an excellent attacking position here. Guy Thompson is the man who's organising operations, being manhandled there by James Cannon. Carlisle, crossfield, looking to pick out James Short. Underneath it is North, and North safely under it, calling for the mark, but the penalty has been awarded to Wasps. Offside.
Yeah, again, very hungry driving maul from a very well set up, lots of depth, probably 4 or 5. How quickly Wasps set that up, and then you can see, well, you can see maybe 5 sets of shorts there. That's how deep it is. sitting there at the back, not a chance that a Saints player can come in there legally. Quite rightly, penalty to Wasps. Only way to stop that. Trundling along.
Well, it's been a terrific start from Dai Young's men. They've won their last couple of matches with some extraordinary scorelines. They scored 6 tries in their 44 points to 38 win over Newcastle last week, the highest scoring fixture of the season. And then before that, there was the match at Twickenham against Gloucester, which they pinched by 38 points to 30. Points everywhere. And 3 more from a rather measured penalty from Joe Carlisle. Neat and tidy, and into an 8-point lead.
I was just keeping my eye on Stephen Myler and Lee Dixon, Phil Dowson there, as to say, well, you know, what are they saying to the rest of their team? Are they, what's the next move? And it was pretty quiet, Alison. No one seemed to be standing up and prepared to say to the rest of the team, right, OK, we've had a fairly horrific 13 minutes. Wasps have been all over us. Let's play some territory. That's a better kick-off.
A bit more height on the ball. It's taken in by Nathan Hughes. The ball is dislodged, but it's gone backwards, and it's taken up by Taione Vea. His first Premiership start, the Tongan international. Jackson providing the target.
Use it!
Driving into Burrell.
Stop there, 3 and 4.
Plenty of time. PC. Foden inside him. PC going straight. Manhandled by Hughes. He's been picked up off the ground. Goodness me, the power and strength of the man. Absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, I got it here.
Northampton have got the ball back somehow or other. Looking forward to seeing that again. Dixon, Haywood. And now James Cannon. Foden tried to drive it through via the boot. It's fallen to Hughes. And here goes Vandel, stretching his legs. Wasps are all over Saints like a rash at the moment. And Tom Vandel has notched up their second try of the afternoon.
Oh, keep an eye on Ben Foden here. He is going bananas at the referee there. Using the sort of gesticulating as if you've got to go to the TV for that.
David, have you got me?
Yes, Luke, go ahead.
So I'm happy the first one is a charge down, but I'm unsure if he's knocked it on in the collection of the ball afterwards.
OK, let's have a look.
I'm happy the first one was, making sure he hasn't knocked on secondly, that's all.
David Sainsbury's our man in the truck on TMO duty today. Looked like a clean pickup.
Well, there's just a moment where he charges it and then goes for it. And I think the initial part here, that's a charge down, no problem. It's there where he just, no, he doesn't go for it. You can't see anything wrong with that.
Is there a touch on the right arm as he extends? It didn't look like it.
I'll let you know in a sec. I'll let you know in a sec.
I think Ben Foden thinks that he's gone to catch it and therefore it should be there. As it's come off his leg, gone onto his left arm, it's as if he's gone for it with his right arm, but is he saying that's part of the charge down?
OK, Luke, have a decision.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
No knock on, you may award the try.
OK, thanks.
Well, what a strike from Tom Vandel. He has put them 13 points up after as many minutes, and look at that, he's up to second in the all-time list on 75 tries in the Premiership. They've really missed him and Christian Wade this season.
Well, if you're going to have a break, if you're going to have a charge down as a number 8 and you scoop the ball up and you've got 50 yards to go, who do you want on your left-hand side, Mr. Eakin? You want a prolific try scorer to sprint it in.
It's all, I was going to say all falling the way of Wasps, but the intervention from the woodwork denying Joe Carlisle 2 more points, but 15 minutes gone, and Wasps, the underdogs, written off widely ahead of this match, leading by 13 points to 0. Look at the power. It was a double tackle, really. It was a team effort, wasn't it? But Nathan Hughes, you felt really taking the bulk of the weight there.
He's that type of player. If he's in the mood, He played that stinger against Gloucester at Twickenham. When he's in the mood, things happen.
Real scrap for his services internationally at the moment as Saints gather possession through Wilson. This is in an awkward position for Wasps. Trouble potentially. Dixon scooting to the right, finding Cannon, cutting a nice line back in field. Quick ball for Dixon, driven on by Waller, one of the stars of the season for Saints. Terrific at loose head.
No clear release tackle.
Callum Clark to nobody in particular. Penalty awarded.
No.
Wilson wants to take it quickly.
Clear release, please.
No release of the tackler by the Wasps' defence. Myler's going to stick this into the corner.
You're 13 points up. You just want an exit strategy, surely. Wasps will be kicking themselves that they didn't get that ball away. Turned it over to Northampton and now kicking to the corner. I can't see any other option. This is right up Benkei Street. He would have commentated the whole thing to a try.
That's what he likes to call coffin corner, isn't it? And it's Christian Day who plucks it from the skies. Waller has his hands on it. Hayward is wrapping around him, and they are firmly in control. They will have the penalty. Luke Pearce's arm is outstretched. Hayward is working it forwards. Ma'afu is there with him. He could do with some support. And Wallace is going to call... Sorry, Wallace. Luke Pearce is going to call back. Dixon.
You've got to go on the mark.
Referee, I mean, come on. Get on with the game.
Number 5, collapsing the ball.
Lee Dixon wanted a quick tap penalty, let him go. I think he was 17 inches from the right place to take a quick tap penalty. They were let off for Wasps because they can defend again, they can dig in, and they did very well with the defence of that maul.
Again, it's Christian Day. Need to be accurate and ruthless from this kind of position. 13 points down and not playing anything like the way that they can. It's been stolen. What a turnover. And Thompson whacks it into the stands.
Well, from the moment that the line-out was actually set up, I think Wasps were unlucky that the referee didn't see a knock-on from Northampton. They dug him round the fringes. And then a bit of poaching from Guy Thompson. I think deep down he'd probably be disappointed with the slice there. Maybe you could have whacked it downfield.
Ball.
Picked out by Cannon. Dowson for Dixon. Burrell, no way through. Myler. Craig on the scissor. Wilson on the scissors. Just probing that short side again and again. Better continuity now from the Saints. Myler working it wide. Infield from PC. And over in the corner.
I think he was just about in touch. Saw the touch judge's flag fly into the air, fluttering in the breeze.
Wait. Open up, Saints.
Just a tiptoe, just there.
There we go, bang on the line, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Myler thought he was in.
5 and 6. Thanks.
But it's building. Definitely building. Wasps under pressure, really for the first time properly in the match. It's been gathered in. Thompson takes the full force of Phil Dowson.
Over.
Davis gets it safely away.
Yeah, nice clearance. Very nice clearance with the left peg there into the breeze. Wasn't easy there under huge pressure. And not only have Wasps been flying in attack, flying on the turnover, but showing a gritty, determined spirit on their own line against still a formidable Northampton pack.
Harlequins leading Bath by 7 points to 0. We understand at the Soup, Mike Brown has struck for Harlequins, one of the contenders for player of the season. Saints pressing. Burrell driving hard. Wilson in there to help out. So too Hayward. Myler. Lovely arcing run from PC. George North has been released, and George North will need no second invitation. You're not going to stop the Welsh international and Lion Star from that kind of distance. And Northampton have some reward for their recent toil.
There's just an air of inevitability there when George North gets the ball on the front foot with 1 or 2 people to go. You just think you've got no chance. It was actually set up from a great barrelling run from Burrell, who's done it a few times. Carlisle couldn't put him down. Hayter tried to hold him up and get the turnover. The ball then gets released out wide, and a simple move behind the back, and you think, here we go, step on the inside. Wasps players just sprawled across Franklin's Gardens. Another decent finish from George North.
Well, maybe that will spark Saints into life. They've been sluggish and they've been stung by some high-quality Wasps rugby. Milo, with a little bit of assistance from his half-back partner, sends it through the middle. Saints on the board, but Wasps leading by 13 points to 7. Let's speak to their director of rugby, Dai Young. Dai, terrific start from your lot.
Yeah, obviously better start than we could have expected coming here. It's a difficult place to come. First 18 minutes, you know, we've done really well. We've attacked with some real intent and some real good stuff. But as well as that, I think we've defended really well. It's probably the first time that their power runners are got going. And as I said, you can't give George North 5 metres from the line. It's only ever going to be one result. But looking back, and I'm a little bit disappointed. Looked like the ball had gone forward after that Burrell run. But you know, we're chancing our luck a little bit as well. Come places like this, you need a little bit of luck to go your way. We just got to keep playing. And if we can get the next goal on the board, keep the pressure on Northampton.
Well, you poked the bear, so to speak, and maybe you will feel the full force of Northampton. You would expect a backlash of some kind, wouldn't you?
Well, they'll just keep on playing. As I said, we force mistakes out, and they're not going to be making mistakes all game. We know what quality they are, and as I said, here they go. They've putting us under a lot of pressure. We just need to dig in here and keep our line intact.
Thanks very much, Dai. Saints firmly on the front foot at the moment. The game seems to have broken right up, but Wasps have done enough with the choke tackle.
Yeah, what Dai was talking about there, and keep making sure Wasps keep that line, means that yellow line across the field. If it goes up, it's got to go up together. If it goes back or it holds off together. And certainly in that defensive pattern, it got a little bit messy on the halfway line. It gave an opportunity for PC there to get round the outside. But where they were very, very clever was there, they regrouped, they took their time and they kept that line so that when the next Northampton Saints attack came, they could pounce in numbers, create the maul and the turnover.
How threatening is Ken Pesey looking today on that right wing? Seems to have seen an awful lot of the ball, whether it's in gathering those long kicks downfield from Wasps or in broken play. This may well have gone against the head. It's been won by Northampton, who are making that set-piece pressure tell.
Little old-school strike against the head there as the pressure came through from Northampton. A ricochet, the ball ricocheted around in the tunnel. Keep an eye here. Wasps have it, but under the pressure, the ball couldn't get through channel 2. Back to the number 8 Hughes, instead went to Northampton's number 8 Dickinson, and I think they'll be disappointed they didn't actually do something with that turnover ball, because the backs would have loved that. And now it's the big ugly fellas who are going to have the ball.
Well, Franklin's Gardens has suddenly come to life. Christian Day pausing mid-air as if in slow-mo. But now the drive on from 5 metres out. They look firmly in control. Dixon is the man most likely to break away, but he's being driven on now by PC. Bodies over the line and the try score. Saints have come to life, and it's Phil Dowson, the skipper, who's come away with the score.
Yeah, you're not wrong when you said that somebody's poked the bear. I think Northampton must have been disgusted with themselves the way they played that first 15-20 minutes, and now they've gone back to type. They've got a great maul. Dorian West works so hard on their maul and their drive in play, and when they just got a bit of a nudge on, a couple of the backs joined in. I think I saw Ken Pesey. Here he comes driving Lee Dixon into it, all the momentum going towards the Wasps line, and a flop over for Phil Dowson. He's going to show some character now. Wasps are really going to have to show some character to bounce back from a pretty torrid 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, Myler has been terrific this season from the tee. 83% success rate, more than 1,000 Premiership points. That's not this season. That's over the course of his career, but he's been superb. And when they have got into the red zone, time after time, he's converted pressure into points. There's a wicked wind, a really wicked drift. It set off on the right course and then was taken wildly to the right, so Saints stay in touch. They're 1 point behind now. They've scored a number of unanswered points now, and Wasps will know that they are in a proper scrap. Bath have scored at the Stoop. It's level at 7 points apiece. Available on BT Sport 1 right now. It's scrapped for 4th place. Here's Christian Day. Saints need a point from this match to secure the home playoff semi-final. Clever from Dixon. North chasing. Short is back there. And he's got it away to Tommy Bell, who breaks over the 22. Decent defensive work from Dai Young's men. But a good counter-ruck as well from Northampton, trying to spoil possession. Charlie Davis. Ben Foden chasing in and setting off at a rate of knots. Brilliant from Foden, and he's released Myler. That is sensational from Ben Foden. Myler right on the shoulder, and it's the fly half who touches down.
Well, just back to his international best that from Ben Foden. A very blustery day here from the high ball from Davis. You can see people didn't know whether to jump for it or not, but he's kept his eye on it beautifully. Look at that fend with the right hand, and you think, well, so much attention. 4 Wasp players thinking, I've got to make the tackle on Ben Foden, but he just had the vision. Here we go, just keep an eye. Look at all the Wasps now attract towards him, and he's just found Myler in a bit of space. What a season Myler's had, by the way. Should be, you'd like to think, maybe going on that tour down to New Zealand, threatening for the number 10 jersey, especially for the first test.
Yep, it's up for grabs, isn't it? The 3-test tour to New Zealand. Stephen Myler battling it out with the likes of Danny Cipriani, perhaps for that 3rd fly half spot in behind Owen Farrell and George North. And this one is through the middle. What did I say? George North, George Ford. But
George North, he could probably play.
Yeah, he could play anywhere he wanted for Wales. This was good from Foden.
Oh, he's so strong, because you think ordinarily, well, OK, he's going to get tackled there, no problem, but his power with his fend and the way that around his hips, he can accelerate away, uses that momentum to get into space and then deliver the pass.
So that's the table as it stands at the moment. It's level at 7 points apiece at the Stoop between Harlequins and Bath. And we know that top 3 already secure. Leicester doing battle with Saracens at Welford Road at the moment.
I agree it's a more than your legal entry, but you can't collapse it on your choice. No, not my decision.
A discussion between Tom Palmer and Luke Pearce, but the Saints have scored 19 unanswered points in the space of 7 minutes. And that is what you call a quality response.
Yeah, Dai Young won't be thanking you for having a chat about how well Wasps were doing, were they, Al?
It was perfectly timed, I think you'll find. It's called outstanding production.
It's very difficult to get this across to the Wasp players, but it is going to be tricky giving all those points away. But you've got to look at the conditions here. They're playing into a breeze. They get themselves to half-time. They can then play a little bit of territory. They've been under the pump big time here from Northampton, but they've got to stick into their system.
Over the top, rather surprisingly, ending up with Waller. Dowson. Dickinson. Breaking the gain line and over the 10-metre line. Lovely little flip onwards from Stephen Myler. Scorer of that last try, the 3rd for Saints this afternoon, his 1st of the season. Had that fabulous little assist, didn't he, for Jamie Elliott at the Rep. last time out. Dixon playing for territory, gathered in by Tommy Bell.
Hold that yellow! Hold that one!
Foden, lovely take over the shoulder. Franklin's Gardens just crackles with electricity and anticipation when Foden has ball in hand. It's pretty loose from Vandel. Carlisle has to tidy up. James Wilson patrolling back there.
Keep coming, Southern.
He's spotted a lot of space and he's measured that to perfection.
Yeah, proper kick back. Lovely under the wind, just nudges it down there after plenty of kick tennis. Players out of position. The difference between Northampton playing now to their first 5 or 10 minutes is they're starting to see the gaps, they're starting to put the ball in the spaces and not just the backs. You know, that was Dowson to Dickinson, not just chucking the ball up, keeping a bit of variation in their play, which are making Wasps think a bit more.
This is taken in by Palmer and then lost. That's very wasteful from Wasps, and Dowson will look to capitalise. Deep inside the 22, they're looking for the bonus point score. Dixon finding Christian Day. The Wasps defenders looking a little more weary at this point. Myler just holds it up, and Burrell tries to get it away to North, and that's forwards.
Yeah, again, just a bit laboured, a little bit of indecision. North against, you can't knock George North's work rate. I mean, for a man who's had a long season, played a lot of rugby, a lot of high-class rugby, he's so hungry to be getting involved, and even running onto the right-hand side of the field, looking for work off Burrell, off Wilson, and then he gets himself back onto the left wing, ready to score tries, and he really does put it in for the team.
Just the highest quality. Hasn't actually really played as much as the fans here would have liked, what with Welsh international commitments, 1 or 2 little niggles, recent calf injury, but to have him fit and firing and ready to go for an assault on the title, just what they would have wanted.
Well, I think it also takes a little bit of time to get used to, you know, the Aviva Premiership, because it's brutal. It's week after week, and if you're playing well and you're playing internationals, yeah, go on then, go and play in your Six Nations, but the week after we want you back ready to play at the Gardens as if you were playing down at the Millennium Stadium. It does take its toll, so it's going to take a while for him to adapt to that.
Great to see a smile on the face of Alex Caballero, back in the frame, back on the bench. Last seen playing for England against Argentina back in November. Knee problems, knee operations, and Stuart Lancaster said that he will play no part in the summer tour of New Zealand, so he can have an entire summer of proper fitness and preparation for next season. Penalty awarded to the Saints. Wasps in trouble at scrum time.
You dropped your knee before he went on the ground. You're collapsing the scrum.
That's addressed to Taione Vea, and Myler will look for the 3 at this point after quite a frenetic last 15 or 20 minutes.
Number 3 is on
I don't think there was any doubt about that penalty. I think even Mr. Vea there knew that he was in a little bit of trouble. Just putting a bit too much pressure on McIntyre, rather. Yeah. Buckles under the pressure from Northampton.
So even allowing for the breeze, and it is a very stiff breeze, Myler is close enough here to drill this one through the middle. 3 more points, and Northampton beginning to look like the side we know they can be.
They certainly are. They've got that ruthless streak about them for the last 13 or 14 minutes, which I think Wasps were always going to be worried about. But you know, this kid here, Carlisle, has got to step up. Big challenge for him getting into the second half as well.
Nicely taken by Christian Day on the 22-metre line. Hayward driving it onwards. The ball nicely set.
That's what's
Still moving forwards. Palmer trying to disrupt operations. There's the advantage. Taken quickly, and Dixon this time is allowed to go. Gets the pass away beautifully for Burrell. Up to halfway. Nathan Hughes caught offside. This could be a card. It is a yellow for Nathan Hughes, one of the more influential Wasps on the field. That is a big, big setback.
Yeah, that's a big blow, huge blow, but it pretty much sums up where Wasps are at the moment. They don't know where to turn. They've just got this sea of green, gold and black all over them. Lee Dixon taking quick tap penalties, the drive-in mauls, high kicks. It's just every single angle. Even there, look at this quick tap penalty, the first one of the day from Lee Dixon, and here comes Burrell spotting that Wasps were isolated, and Nathan Hughes thinks because he was the tackler that he could pick it up, but a ruck had already formed.
This one taken in by Dowson. Callum Clark pops it away for Dixon. Myler. Burrell again. Lovely balance to the running of Luther Burrell. He could have a very big part to play this summer in New Zealand. No Billy Twelvetrees most likely for Stuart Lancaster's men. Awkward grubber kick through for Tommy Bell. Oh, he's going to have to be very careful. Foden thinks he might just have got the touchdown. And the Saints are celebrating what they believe is the bonus point try. We will check.
Grounding or not? So yes or no, is it? Okay. David?
Yes, Luke.
Can you just check the grounding try, yes or no, please?
Yeah, got that.
What was your first reaction
on earth to that one, Tommy Bell doing there? He was trying to wait until it got in the in-goal area to maybe put it down. The bounce wouldn't go with him. Got a little bit of a nudge, and oh my goodness me, Ken Beasy got his right arm around Tommy Bell, somehow got a bit of downward pressure. Great angle.
Oh, hello.
He's just knocked that on, hasn't he? You can see there's definite space from not that angle, but from the other angle, you can see there was space between his hand and the ball. So he's just nudged it and couldn't quite get control, but brilliant, brilliant effort. Here we go, look. Right, he's touched it there, and then there's a gap. That's a knock-on.
So nearly, absolutely stunningly good.
What did he have for breakfast today, Ken Peacey?
He is pumped, isn't he? Absolutely everywhere across the park. This one's likely to be ruled out. David Sainsbury not quite ready to announce his verdict. Saints players are going to be very disappointed here. They're all back behind halfway.
Yeah, the old players would be standing more towards the 22 rather in their own half, because they know they're going to have to run back 50 yards for a scrum or something like that.
Hey, it's good for the GPS system.
Oh yes, of course it is. Mileage.
So decision time.
Okay, Luke, have a decision.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it was a knock-on by Green, 5 metre scrum to the defence.
Okay, so no try, knock on, the restart's a 5 metre scrum?
5 metre scrum to the defence,
Okay,
yep.
time on, please, Nick. No try, knock on, scrum.
Disappointment for Ken Peacey and for Jim Mallender. That would have been the bonus point try, but they're still camped 5 metres away from the try line. You just get an indication there from the trees and the flag. The extent of the wind, it is gusting all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I think what you've just said, it's gusting. It's not a constant breeze. So, of course, when that ball goes up in the air, anything can happen. Sometimes nothing happens. It'll fly 50 metres. Other times it's just getting knocked down and it'll go 20 metres. So really, really tricky. And that's why I've said, what if they just stick in here for the next 3 or 4 minutes, then something could happen in the second half.
So an important scrum now for Wasps, 5 metres out from their try line in an area that they have been vulnerable. Saints front row, particularly Waller and Ma'afu, have been causing a lot of problems, and you can see they've got a little bit of an advantage. Then the surge, Wasps in trouble, picked up by Jackson. He's enveloped by Dowson.
Hold there, on you, 6.
Davis sends it away into the stands. Anywhere would have been a decent clearance from that particular vantage point. They are in a world of bother, and of course without Nathan Hughes.
That is a proper piece of skill, ladies and gents. Honestly, from that pick up from Jackson at the base of the scrum under so much pressure. My goodness me, it's so easy to either knock it on, give a penalty away, mess it up in some. But to drag it out the second row's feet, there you go, on the retreat, just get out of there.
Saints back in control, back in the business area.
Okay, that's 1-9.
Dixon, the eyes and ears, looking, scanning for options. Advantage is with Saints. Wilson drives up. Myler. And a lovely offload. Fabulous. Burrell is the finisher. But all credit there has to go to young Mikey Hayward, who put in a fabulous little pop pass and read the run of Luther Burrell to perfection.
I mean, just the general skills of all of these players in the professional era, it's just remarkable. I mean, you expect this from a fly half to just drop off the hooker, but usually that hooker just plows into the fullback. Here we go, here it comes, give it to the big fella, through the gap. Yeah, I'm going to smash you. No, I'm not. I'm going to give a beautifully weighted pass to the outside to Burrell, who strolls under the post. Real talent there from Hayward. Beautiful bit of skill, and one that guarantees them that game against the Tigers to be here, does it not?
Yeah, that's the necessary point in the bag, and they will have a home semi-final. Franklin's Gardens will be packed to the gunnels as ever, and if it is against their local rivals, it will be spicy. Again, the wind, very awkward. But Northampton have, I think, made their point at this stage.
It's just they'll be watching it. I tell you what, Mickey Hayward will be watching that for years to come. He'll be telling his grandchildren. He'll be going home probably this weekend, phoning his mum and dad, saying, "Did you see that bit of skill? I should play in the centre."
Thanks, Nick. Yes, it is.
Terrific job he's doing in the absence of Dylan Hartley. And it's booted away by Lee Dixon for what ultimately will be considered an excellent first half. But really, we have to break it down into two parts, because for a quarter of an hour, Wasps were running Saints ragged. They led by 13 points to nil, 27 unanswered points. The bonus point is assured. North, Dowson, Myler and Burrell with the tries. Both 27 unanswered points was the result. Nathan Hughes still in the sin bin, remember, for Wasps. And as far as Saints are concerned, that is just about the ideal start, because it's been knocked forwards by Charlie Davis, and they will have a scrummage right in the middle of the 22 from the outset.
Oh, you could just see it getting caught up in the wind, and Charlie Davis didn't know whether to go forward early or to hang off and let it bounce. Caught between two stalls and fell off both of them.
There you go.
Plenty to come from the Northampton bench as well. Limbering up before too long will be Alex Corbisiero, Samu Manoa, Tom Wood, Khan Fotualiti, George Peacey. How much more quality do you want? Courtney Laws having a weekend off this time around, so Dylan Hartley still injured, but look at that, it's not making a whole heap of difference. Wasps are all over the place. Penalty awarded. Dixon goes. Dixon gets the ball away. PC stretches and it's gone forwards.
10, so penalty.
But they have the penalty because the tackle came within the 10 metres.
10 metres.
Certainly mean business, don't they? Lee Dixon wanted to go for the quick tap penalty when maybe he could have just gone for the scrum and driven the nail into the coffin even more for Wasps.
9.
And then maybe a touch lucky to get the offload away, but then get the decision. Is so tough to defend your own line when you're under so much pressure from a big strong team, and certainly with Mercy coming on, He is showing none of that.
Crunch.
So many options. Will be lovely here. Maybe use Ben Foden down the right-hand side with Ken Pesey. Or did they just drive them over, Alistair?
Well, I think the former might be the favoured option here. Dickinson licking his lips. Dickinson. Oh, it's Dixon. Well, it had to be one of the two. And it is the scrum half who pitches it from under the nose of his number 8. It's one for your sort.
And a little signal to maybe a bit of family in the crowd there to celebrate the birth of his new baby child. I'll tell you one person who will be absolutely fuming there.
Sam Dickinson.
Oh, he'll be livid. All the hard work, the foot control, and the last minute he just fell over to the left-hand side.
Oh, it's mine.
And then gave it to the... Yeah, well, I think actually Lee Dixon just pushed him, nudged him ever so slightly out of the way.
Wouldn't be like a scrum half to do a thing like that. Two more from Stephen Myler. Scoreline looking menacing at this stage for Wasps. A man down.
There you go. Did you see that? Lee Dixon just had his left hand on his backside. And there's the
celebration of the new baby.
Who was the first sportsman to do that? Do you remember that?
No.
Was it Bebeto? Yeah, it was Bebeto.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
You get a small prize at the end of the match.
I'm not bad at sports trivia.
Well, you get enough practice at it.
No, Latcher. No, use it.
There's the try scorer with the box kick. And Tommy Bell not reading that, over his head and away into touch.
I think the Wasps coaching staff are going to be
On the mark, and I'll get their numbers.
just going to be ready to
Saints.
maybe in the debrief tomorrow or when they have a few ice baths and recovery in the morning, they'll just give a few players a nudge on the backside to say, oi, get yourself together next week, get your mind right.
7.
Preparation.
7.
I mean, that's
10,
sloppy
15,
from
4.
Bell. It was sloppy from Davis a little bit earlier from the kickoff. No excuses.
James Craig with the line-out ball. It's a more intense thrust from Wasps. Davis picking out Carlisle. Bell to his brother.
Tackle!
McIntyre stopped in no uncertain terms by Sam Dickinson, putting himself about. And it's between PC and Foden. Slightly dangerous, but PC's run a lovely line off the Foden shoulder. Hayward picked up and dumped by Charlie Hayter, but Callum Clark is on his way.
Play on and backwards.
Was submitted. Cannon.
No.
Carlisle. Bell. Vandel in a little bit of space. Foden covering. Can't get the pass inside. Picked off by Burrell. He's looking to counter. Clark. George North from the 22. Looking to conjure something here. Tackle is a decent one from James Short. Had to be.
No.
Dickinson. Waller. Burrell. Delayed pass for Dowson, who got nailed. And Dixon thumps it downfield.
Of course, I mean, so much to talk about that great commitment and defence. Hughes coming back on. And it all then led to a good counter-attack from Burrell and Clark. Give it to the fast man. Here we go. Beautiful feet round the outside. 2-on-1 to PC. And George North thought that he was going to take on the world. You can't blame him, though. You can't blame him. With a man of his stature and ability, I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd broken the tackle and scored it himself.
Luther Burrell is being wrapped up in cotton wool. He's been taken off, and young Tom Stevenson is on. 20-year-old centre. He's had a decent first Premiership season. A couple of handy outings. That's straight into touch.
I think the wind just slightly beat Carlisle, showing some frustration. That's the right call, though. Right call to bring on Stevenson and take off Burrell. There we go. Yeah, it's just outside the line there. No chalk dust. I think Burrell's got to go. I think Stuart Lancaster will be quietly happy about that. Just wrap him up, play him in the big games, get him ready for those big test matches down in New Zealand. And I genuinely believe he could be a key man bringer coming into the World Cup. I really do. I think who he plays with, is it going to be Tuolangi? I mean, what, in theory, that partnership could be magical.
It has an awful lot going for it, doesn't it? 12 Trees offering something just a little bit different at 12, a little bit more in the way of distribution, a bit more of a kicking game. But Burrell, having played 13, effectively out of position in his debut season. Really taken to it like a duck to water. Saints here are firmly in control.
No one wants to throw it in straight. No one wants to play at the moment. That passage of play, I think, has tired them all out. Maybe there's been a little agreement between the two hookers. Lindsay saying, yeah, OK, we'll have a little bit more rest. The wind's just caught up. Tom, look at the frustration on Tom Palmer's face there. George North ready to get on Myler's outside shoulder. Look at him in sprint position. You can't help but think he's going to be involved if the ball comes out the scrum.
Dickinson to Dixon. Nice hands from Stevenson. Picked up off his toes by Dixon again. Foden is the link man. Wilson trying to weave a passage through. He's had a very successful time of it against Wasps in recent times. Out of the back door by Myler. It's been picked off by Vandel. But the pass has not gone to hand.
One knock on, then a second.
Brilliant skills. They used George North as a decoy runner. Fooled me, fooled a little bit of Wasps. Quick hands to the outside, but Vandel looking for the poach. We showed a beautiful deft touch against Bath to put Jamie Elliott in, and again there's the hands come through. Great play from Dixon. Day, PC, round the back from Myler, and I just seriously don't think Stevenson even saw it coming.
Well, if there is a criticism of Stephen Myler, it's that he doesn't offer enough in attack on the gain line himself as an attacking runner. But my goodness, his hands are magnificent, aren't they?
Yeah, I think he should take confidence in the way that he can play. I mean, the try he finished, he got himself in the right position, and he's showing good delivery with the hands. So I think he's certainly progressing this season.
Leicester have taken charge at Welford Road. They lead Sarries by 17 points to 8. A try from Manu Tuolangi, and a red card as well for Saracens. Justin Melk has been sent off, so Sarries down to 14 men, and Leicester look to be in control. That is proving tighter than.
I just don't know what the tension must be like.
Just in front of the ball.
Down at the stoop, so much at stake. I've got to keep talking for the next 20 seconds so you can look at your notes to see what happens if it's a draw.
Oh, do you know? Do you know? That's what Bath want. A draw will do them just fine. There we are. That's the table as it stands right now. If it finishes as a draw at the stoop, Bath qualify. And they would take on Sarries in the semi-final. It'll be on Saturday at Allianz Park, live on BT Sport, of course. Wasps on the attack this time. Nathan Hughes punching the hole. Thompson not quite picking that up. It's gone forwards. But I imagine that Dai Young are absolutely delighted, he and the rest of his coaching charges, to have Nathan Hughes back in the ranks.
Yeah, I mean, with Wasps playing, some of the players put this fellow here, Vandel. Look at these dancing feet here. Watch Dixon. Oh, he's absolutely sold a dummy on Dixon there. Tried to, with the beautiful feet. Here we go, see it from this angle. Dixon went the wrong way, nearly fell over. That'll be on the highlights clip.
Both teams stationary, okay? stationary. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Better from Wasps until the bodies collapse, but Dixon gets it away. Myler, nice flat pass for Wilson. Foden to PC. Infield it goes. Foden chasing hard. Back goes Davis. And Tommy Bello, he spilt it again. And Wilson will profit. Up to the line. Reaching over. It's been knocked forwards. Oh, it's been held up, excuse me.
Now, as much as I want to talk about the great backs move from the scrummage, the lovely hands, PC running round the outside and chipping it through, Foden following it up. The star of that move was Luke Pearce, the referee, to get in that position immediately to call it. Top draw.
So here is a very welcome sight, and in fact many of the supporters here at Franklin's Gardens are on their feet for two reasons. One, to applaud Alex Waller, who's had another very effective game at Loosehead, but also to cheer onto the field Alex Corbisiero. There he is, having spent so long on the sidelines. Myler has gone off as well, by the way, but Corbisiero, last seen in Northampton colours playing against Castres in October. Knee operation, restored to the front row after a long wait. Stuart Lancaster will be watching on a little later. I understand he's up at Newcastle today. Here's the replay that shows Wilson being held up over the line.
And there's your man, straight in position. Luke Pearce, don't go to the TMO. I know exactly what decision to give there. Well done, sir.
So Andy Good is on. Tommy Bell has come off.
Bind. Set. Stand up. Stand up. Whoa, hey, lads. None of the commentary, please. I'll make sure he's not bendy, but you got to stay straight.
Let's go, boys, let's go! Dig in! Let's go, Cobby!
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Off the bench and straight into the coalface for Corbisiero. This time it's Wasps who've taken it against the head, but Hughes can't gather it. Foden will gather it, and Foden will score. Number 6 for the Northampton Saints. Ben Foden smiling broadly. Franklin's Gardens happy.
Well, there are some happy faces there from Ben Foden, but then again, if you look at Corbisiero, who's just come on, he's sort of chattering and chuntering because they were on the retreat there. They were going backwards. Wasps should have been exiting their 22. And really very, very sloppy there from Hughes. He's played so well when he's been on the field. But just to cough it up was unnecessary.
Another of those players who's had frustrating season. Spent a long time out, 14 weeks with a knee injury from November. But at his best, he is absolutely world-class, and the cupboard is very well stocked for England at fullback. Mike Brown out on his own at the moment, but Alex Good in there. Ben Foden, Anthony Watson, of course, under consideration as well. James Wilson steps up from the tee, and they're over the 40-point mark.
Yeah, I think Ben Foden's probably playing himself very, very close to being on the wing for England. If he gets back to that type of form, he's not going to house Mike Brown, who's just flying at the moment, one of the world's best fullbacks. But Ben Foden is a supreme rugby player, and you need those types of talents on the field. And no one's really banging down the door of both winger berths, so yeah, he could be well in with the shout.
Chris Ashton might have something to say about that. He's in.
Sure he will, sure he will. So will Johnny May.
At the moment. Johnny May and Jack Noel, the men in possession, of course. Noel unable to tour New Zealand through injury. Marland Yard probably at the front of the queue. too far in front of Tom Vandel from Andy Good.
Then you got that right.
It's not actually a game you really look forward to coming on. When you're on the bench, you know, you have half an idea as to how the game's going to go. It's going to be tricky for Wasps at the best of times coming up to the Gardens, end of the season. No position to play for, but then when you're on the bench, you're just thinking, oh, right, here we go. Dig in, 25 minutes. Pat going backwards. Backs running riot. And they're probably going to try a little bit too hard, Wasps, whereas maybe Andy Good will think about some territory, just try and knock the wind out of Northampton a little bit and stop them from just ploughing through the yellow shirts.
Stand up.
It's going to be reset. We've got two new props for Wasps. Ricky Reeves and Phil Swainston are on.
Chase. 3, don't hit the floor. Okay?
We're getting a talking to already. Brett Sheehan is on as well at scrum half for Wasps, so all new half-backs.
Set and stop.
You got him, Sweeney. Down twice, let's go.
Come on, hey, I'm trying to
Brett Sheehan, Australian international, joined Wasps back in January.
Not being funny, but he looks as old as I am. I reckon this stuff's still got a chance.
He's 34.
Maybe I'm aging well.
Crouch. Bind.
Depends who's asking.
Set.
Dixon down the short side. PC on the shoulder. Thompson makes the tackle. It's been knocked forwards by Saints. There we go. We'll come back for the scrum. Dixon a little unhappy because it was lacking in clinical execution.
He's been busy. He's been very busy, Lee Dixon. The ball pops out, he gets slightly isolated. He tries to put the feet on Vandel, but realises he's got no chance of getting around him. Again, PC coming into the game. The work rate has been phenomenal, the two wingers for Northampton.
Quins have moved in front against Bath by 13 points to 10. Nick Evans with the penalty. Properly squeaky bum time, isn't it, at the stoop?
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Sheehan feeds. Wasps in all kinds of bother. Saints with the penalty.
Well, that chap from Corbusier certainly worked. He was livid when Ben Foden scored that try.
Head straight across.
As the boys were walking back, he was talking to all the front row, probably saying that is unacceptable. We come on this field, it's about delivering an impact. And again, Wasps deep in their own territory, under so much pressure. But watch this surge come on there as soon as the ball was in.
Christian Day. And you see the penalty count beginning to stack up against the visitors. Callum Clark runs into Thompson, 5 metres short. Wilson goes himself. Vandel holding him up. Wilson still moving forwards, being driven up towards the line, over the line, and down for the try. Lee Dixon has poached another one. He's stealing tries this afternoon.
I'll tell you what, and that's, you know, all the decent scrum-halves do. They know where to be at the right time, right place. So much pressure. It's take your pick, really, whether it's Wilson driving over. Maybe he got held up a couple of moments ago, stayed on his feet really well, and Dixon goes to latch onto the ball, spins out, finds himself over the line. That thumb looked a little bit dirty there. I hope he had his tetanus jab.
2 tries to celebrate, and a new child as well. So it's turning out to be a pretty useful week for Lee Dixon. No rest for the wicked. 2 points away from the half-century. Northampton in cruise control.
And not only the two tries for Lee Dixon, but I think his general performance has been very cute, very organised. When you think from that very first 5 minutes, or probably 3 minutes, getting a kick charge down, Wasps go 5 points up. It would be easy just to go into his shell, but he's blossomed. And remember, he has been under pressure the last few weeks from Khan Fortalihi, who's been the first pick. So he's come back in right at the correct moment for the big games.
Take it in!
Wilson operating at number 10 now for the Saints. And Hughes, this should be good. He's got a bit of space to run into. Big clash with Corey Britton, who's on at hooker now for Saints. He's on loan from Gloucester. Carlisle. Guy Thompson. Leicester now leading Saracens by 24 points to 15 at Welford Road. Good. Jackson. Hayter. Stevenson making the tackle. Sheehan. Hayter in at scrum half. Ricky Reeves. Replacement Loosehead. He's a Lance Corporal in a bomb disposal unit with the Army. Ricky Reeves. He's on sabbatical to play for Wasps, and they've carved something very nice out here as Guy Thompson races up that right-hand touchline. And one loose pass brings it all to a shuddering halt.
Tackle only.
Stevenson to North. He's freed up North. You can give that up right now. George North will be in at the corner, no matter how much James Short chases him down. 2 for North. Northampton running right.
So much firepower from just every angle, whether it's in close quarters. You've got Dixon nipping over like the terrier he is. It's a quick turnover ball. Wasp looking half decent there, weren't they, Bell? And Thompson just gliding down the touchline, but then a loose pass. But it's so quick to keep the ball alive. Callum Clark just staying on his feet. He could have easily just dived on that. Stevenson making 2 great tackles on the right-hand side, finds himself on the left-hand side. And like Varndale did in the first half, he just turns round to the left. Stevenson gives it to George North, and thank you.
50 up.
Yeah, of course.
To think the Wasps were leading this by 13 points to 0.
It's just a remarkable 53, possibly 55 unanswered points. They are in the mood, and by it sounds what's been happening at Welford Road, it looks like that's been a slightly more confrontational fixture, shall we say.
Oh, that's unkind on James Wilson, because he looked to have read the wind really nicely. Nevertheless, a 40-point advantage. They're enjoying themselves.
Hang on.
No less than 4 officers in the building. So what a moment for Joe Launchbury to come on in place of James Cannon in the second row. Not the kind of situation that he would necessarily relish. World-class player now, Joe Launchbury. Daly is on as well in the backs in place of Hayter. And a rare disappointment for Northampton and James Wilson.
It's just one of those moments where every Northampton player just wants to get the ball in their hands and do something, and just ever so slightly took his eye off the ball, thinking about what he was going to do before he actually had a chance to do it. However, there's never quite as much misery in making a simple mistake when you know your forwards are so dominant, because he's now thinking at fly half, well, I'm fairly confident that if Wasps do win the ball, it's going to be messy, we can defend well, and I'll get a chance to redeem myself.
Set. Wait. Steady on the mark. Yeah.
Tricky challenge for Die Young at this point, isn't it?
Take the set, please, and I'll make sure they don't go early.
European playoff against Stade Francais next Sunday home against Adams Park, and then following Saturday away in Paris for the right to play in the European Champions Cup next season. You'll be live on BT Sport from Adams Park next Sunday. You'll be there?
Yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. Looking forward to that one. I'm going to see a completely different Wasps side, that's for sure. And Die Young will be very conscious of not getting any players injured that he needs against Stade Francais, because they're going to have to win that game and probably win it comfortably. There we go, look, scrum time. James Wilson, ball in hand, giving a few of the players a tap on the backside to say, thank you for getting me out of that little pickle. And now I can thump the ball downfield.
Another nudge from Nick Evans at the stoop. Quins are leading by 16 points to 10. So edging closer towards that fourth and final playoff spot. Carlo Festuccia on at hooker for Tom Lindsay. Left themselves a lot to do, didn't they, Harlequins? They've basically been in cup final mode for about the last 5 rounds.
They're just stuck in that mentality of must win, must win, must win, which you can't knock them. They've not lost at home in the Premiership since September, is it? You know, that is a tough place to go. Probably not quite as tough as Allianz Park, mind you.
George Peacey to his brother Ken, who has been a live wire this afternoon. North again. Carlisle clinging on for dear life, driven up by Dowson. Corey Britton taking up the challenge, looking to get the offload away, but it's Nathan Hughes who's done a good job. Wilson again. Stevenson wriggling and slipping his way through, and Ken Peacey will finally have a try for what has been an outstanding performance from the Samoan winger. Try number 9.
Thoroughly deserved try from Ken Peacey there. Started well. I mean, when you've carried an Australian international on your back for the Lions, you can drag a Wasps player in your Northampton shirt for fun. George North causing havoc. It creates quick ball. Wasps on the back foot. I tell you what, this Stevenson's played well when he's come on and defended superbly well. But then, with the ball in hand, lovely outside arc, and he seemed to have so much time and effort. Now watch him here, he makes the break, no panic. He knows Ken Peacey's coming on the inside there. Listens to the call, strolls under the post, makes that look very, very easy. But mark my words, you know, there'll be a lot of players that would have choked that opportunity up. Classy finish.
Going off this morning? Yeah, please. Cheers. Yeah, that's not nice. They keep winning on.
He's bent it like Beckham. 60 up for the Northampton Saints. This their biggest ever points total, and indeed their biggest ever win margin in the Premiership.
Good to go, small step.
Just fantastic confidence booster for Northampton. You know, the spring in the step, the step of the players, of the crowd, of the town. Because Northampton knows the Tigers are coming, and the Tigers are, if any team that Northampton want to beat in a semi-final or a final, it's got to be the Tigers. It's going to be a massive, massive game. And this fella right here, Lee Dixon, needs to be on the form that we've seen today. Been absolutely superb, as well as that fella, Sam Dickinson. Great partnership building up.
8 and 9 replaced. Khan Fotuali'i on at scrum half. Tom Wood into the back row. You would have thought Dowson probably will move across from 7 to 8, or conceivably Wood will be stationed at 8 as well. Options there for Malander. Fotuali'i, new Mohawk. Wilson. Saints everywhere at the moment. Plenty of runners offering themselves.
Hold there, Seven.
Wilson, though, still playing the pragmatic rugby. May just have overcooked that a touch.
Wasps are not going to be any rush here. You might see a bit of old age and experience. You're watching me, I'll have a little brush of the hair, little sweep the parting back. Just take the time, Goody.
The wind's playing havoc with it today. Carlisle for good. Elliot Daly cut down, scythed down by George Peacey. Palmer, he's off to Gloucester next season, Tom Palmer. One of a raft of reinforcements at Kingsholm. John Afoa and Richard Hibbard joining up as well. Rory Jackson too, that was loose, and Andy Good hasn't got a huge number of options. Finds a lovely little break from Swainston. Rather unexpected. Sheehan to Festuccia, boom! Stevenson. PC. So to Ali'i, run out of space.
Touch by yellow hat, mate, green ball.
I think it was Mercy. Was it? Mercy, mercy, mercy. I think that's what Festuccia was saying at the time. Cracking break. I mean, look at the meters made in the second half for Wasps have been absolutely negligible because of tackles like that.
It's Corey Britton.
Corey Britton has absolutely. And what I like about that is put him down properly. No hint of a spear tackle. He's picked him up, dumped him on his backside. The crowd love it. The fans love it. And fellow players like to see big hits like that as well. I mean, there you go. Look at that. Was that 75? I missed that. Was that blink? Was that 75 metres in the second half? Oh, blimey.
A meeting making rather grisly reading for Wasps supporters. There's Corey Britton. He's had a rather interesting past few weeks, to say the least. Cautioned by police for an incident in a Cheltenham leisure centre not so long ago.
15.
I'm sure he's less said about that, the better.
Chuffed to bits that you brought that up.
Okay, 9, that's once.
So Ken PC in the game has made more metres than Wasps have in total in the second half.
Here goes Foto Ali'i to Wilson. That was not so good from the Wasps skipper, Chris Bell. Suggestion of a tip tackle.
Just walk. Time is off.
Yeah, well, we saw the example there, didn't we, of Britton making a big hit and had to put him down properly. This didn't look quite as well delivered. Bell, pick up, legs above. Do you know what? I don't actually think it's that bad. I think momentum has made Wilson's legs go up into the air. Bell has pulled out there. He's not dumping him down. It's up to the referee how he sees that. But from a former player's perspective, I don't see that as a deliberate tip tackle. It does look nasty.
If there's any sort of lifting involved, it's going to be yellow at the very least.
No, I totally understand it. I'm just trying to give a perspective as to having been in that scenario before with the momentum that Wilson had in the delivery. I mean, look at that little 2-on-1 if Wilson had given it to Stevenson, who was through the gap.
Okay, Luke, clear the ankles.
Okay, Francis, from what I'm seeing on the screen, is it 13 yellow with a scrum hat? He's taken him above the horizontal, but the player has landed on his back. Do you have anything further to add?
No, that is correct.
Okay, number 13, please. He's gone above horizontal on his back. It's a yellow card.
Wasps lose their captain.
Hang on.
We don't really.
You can have no argument with that, Chris Bell.
No, he can't. He got himself into poor position, and thankfully no injury there. Chris Bell just put his hand up and apologised to the rest of his team because the 60 points to 13, they're right under the pump for the last 6.5 minutes, and now they're down to 14 men. I wonder who bought the spread today.
Picked up by Tom Wood, and now you see the weight of the replacements beginning to make an impact. Fortualiti. Plenty of options, taking his time to assess the options. Driven on by Corbisiero from close range.
Yeah, look for the quick ball here.
Wilson, little grubber through, Stevenson's on it, and Daly, I think, has got the touchdown. No! Stevenson has been awarded the try.
No. Referee Luke Pearce, what have you just done?
Is he not asking for the TMOs?
I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not a vital decision, but my initial impression was that is the wrong decision. I'd love to see a replay of that, because I think Daly just casually got there first and has put his hands down. Or did he knock it on?
Excuse me, come here, please.
Here we go.
Come here. Come here. Hang on. Listen. Hang on.
He didn't
Well,
get
he's
the
not
touchdown.
grounded that.
He got the touch.
Hang on. You're a water
Well, that's
player.
two knock-ons, I'm afraid.
Two knock-ons.
One,
Suggest
two.
you calm down. Smalley, can you deal with him on the side, please?
Well, Luke Pearce has awarded it. Stevenson's delighted. It's not going to change the outcome, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And it's the full 7. That's 10 tries today for the Northampton Saints as they gear up for their home semi-final, almost certainly now against the Leicester Tigers. It'll be next Friday night here at the Gardens. Crushing disappointment, of course, for the Saints last year, finishing runner-up to Leicester. Never won the Premiership. They had their skipper sent off in that dramatic final, remember. There are so many wrongs to put right.
That's a tackle.
A lot of obstacles still to overcome. Sanu Manoa is onto the field as if things weren't bad enough for Wasps.
Yeah.
Carlisle feeds Hughes. Quinn's now 19-13 up on Bath at the Rec. Short. Side down by Stevenson. Penalty to Wasps.
On your elbows.
Taken quickly by Sheehan. Here's Launchbury. Carlisle. Looking to jink his way over the 10-metre line. And a penalty to the Saints. Apologies for the language if you picked that up. Nathan Hughes, what a prospect. Even in defeat, heavy defeat like this, he really has shone. And there's an excellent touch finder from Wilson. Everything's going Saints' way now.
Yeah, just a little bit. Dirty little duck hook of a kick from James Wilson has squirted into touch. Just where Wasps have got pretty much. I've got neck ache looking right here just because all the players been in the Wasps 22. I mean, there you go, there's the cut on the inside. I'm sorry, but off the first tee, that's out of bounds, but it's worked.
Arthur closed the gap on Harlequins. It's 19-16 now to Quins at the stoop. As the clock ticks ever towards the conclusion of the match. Tom Wood has been busy since he came onto the field. Nice quick handling. Corbisiero rampaging his way up towards the line. Love to cap his comeback with a try. The offload from PC is loose. Wilson's knocked that forwards. And it's not going to fall for Van Dale. A little bit of ballet on this near side touchline. Can't stay in.
Be very careful. Okay.
And it was from that kind of range, maybe just a little bit closer, that Corbisiero came up with that brilliant opening try in the Lions' final test in Sydney, wasn't it?
You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Ken Pesey here. He looks like he's in the wars. He's had a bit of trouble, got a smack in the ribs. He's got a grimace on his face, but I've got some good news for him. even though George North has scored 2 tries and Lee Dixon has scored 2 tries, for his work rate, 110 metres he's gained, loads of carries, loads of ball. He's my Aviva Premiership man of the match today. Well played, sir. Great energy, great effort. Has really set Northampton up well for a semi-final.
Line-out ball is clean. Fotoli'i finding Stevenson. He's very, very close indeed. The Samoan wants it. Launch break. Last-ditch tackles being made everywhere by Wasps. Short range. Dowson, the captain. Try number 11.
It's relentless. Absolutely relentless. Even Callum Clark's running back. He wants some more. I don't think, Callum, that they're going to get a chance. Your skipper is taking his time back. He's taking the plaudits, the high fives. Great line in between. What's been impressive about this Northampton, I know Wasps have been completely out of the game, but Northampton have just got into their pattern, into their rhythm. They've maintained discipline, and they've gone through their sequences time after time after time. And what that will do, Alistair, is give them great game time and experience ready for next week. Because as much as you try and practice and do it on the back pitches here at Franklin's Gardens, you can't emulate real game time. And they will be buzzing this week for a semi-final. They'll be in real good form.
Yeah. Do you remember 65 minutes ago? It was
with a charge down kick or with a Varndell sprint through with 13-0 down.
And Saints looked lacklustre.
What I remember, Alistair, is you interviewing Di Young, saying how well they were doing, and you were the kiss of death. That's what I remember.
Wilson drills over 2 more to compound Wasps' misery. An 11-try pummelling, and it means that it will be another scrap with the noisy neighbours. Booked in here for Friday night at the Gardens. Saints against Tigers for a place in the final. 74 points to 13. It is a record victory for the Northampton Saints. It is a record defeat for London Wasps, and they have been simply irresistible.